Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another FFF_FPL video. Form, fixtures, feelings. The only channel that's got them all equally. So basically in this video, I'm going to be talking about all the deadline day transfers, or basically transfers that happen within a week of the deadline. Whether that's really big signings, step in Ronaldo, a really small signing. I'm going to be going through each and every one, showing you their prices, their previous clubs, their previous records for those clubs, where I think they're going to be playing in their new teams, whether they're going to be valuable assets or whether you should just completely skip over them and not even give them a chance. Stick around to the end of this video to see which ones I'm going to be bringing into my own team. I will have one more video before this week's deadline, and you'll see my team, the transfers that I'm making and things like that. But anyway, let's go and get into it. This is one of those signings, not to be dramatic, but that pretty much changes everything. And as a Man United fan, this fits the form, fixtures, and feeling. Ronaldo is everything that I could want in a fantasy Premier League player. Coming in at 12.5, I think that's what most people thought he was going to come in at. Joint most expensive player that you can have in the game right now. So obviously, if you follow the footballing world, even if you don't, you've heard this guy's name. He has more Instagram followers than all of the Premier League clubs combined. The value that he's going to bring to Man United, even if he doesn't even score at all, is insane. But yeah, last season for Juventus, he had 33 games played for them with 29 goals and 2 assists. He was the top scorer in the Serie A, above Lukaku. He's on penalties. He's pretty versatile. He can play anywhere. Obviously, he's going to mostly be playing up top, you would anticipate. At the time of recording, he's only 9.6% owned, but every draft that I see from the FPL community for wild cards or for transfers this week, he is in there. So you can see my rating on the top of the screen. Is he wild card worthy? Absolutely. I don't think that there's really a realm in which you should not have him in your team this week. Like, if not this week, then next week. He's going to be at home playing against Newcastle. He came home early from the international break so he could get some more training time with the team. There is just no way, well, not no way. There's potential he wouldn't start, but even if he doesn't start, he's going to come on, and the narrative is just there. It's one of those things. I would be so surprised if he did not at least get a goal, let alone an assist. Everything that he's going to bring to the club is going to help all the players around him. I'm a tad bit concerned for Greenwood, obviously, but with Rashford still being out, you would expect Greenwood to still be playing and his numbers to also go up, especially now that Dan James is out of the team. Those winger roles have to be filled. So if you have Greenwood, don't be afraid. You should be happy. Hold him for a few more weeks for sure. If you have Luke Shaw, you should be very, very happy because Ronaldo's aerial threat is insane. So you're going to be getting a lot of crosses coming into Ronaldo's noggin, dinking those into the top bins. And Ronaldo, listen, it's going to be one of these things, these premium forwards, we're going to have to be able to switch them around and just look at the fixtures. For example, Chelsea have that huge fixture swing come game week 8, right as Ronaldo and Man United will start playing some more difficult fixtures. So it might be a good time to switch to Kane, to switch to Lukaku. And it's going to be a very, very hard option, but like I've talked about before, as managers, you're not going just off of the form. You're looking at the players who you think are about to go into form, the players that you think are about to have a good game. So if that means sacrificing Ronaldo for Lukaku or Kane, that might be something we have to do. But for these next 5 fixtures, amazing starts for Ronaldo to come into the team. A separate note on Greenwood, he was actually left out of the Man United Champions League squad, which is so strange as a United fan, but really, really good as an FPL owner of Greenwood. Because from what I can tell, it essentially is the Man United manager saying that he's putting his trust in Greenwood for the Premier League specifically. So that's all I've got to say on Ronaldo. Honestly, I've already spoken too much. So next we have a new Crystal Palace signing, Edouard. If you can look at my rating of him for the wild card worthy, he's only at a 5. We'll get into that in a second. He's a forward. He's listed as 6.5. He used to play at Celtic, but at Celtic or Celtic, depending on where you're from, how you say it. 26 games, he had 16 goals and 5 assists. That's a pretty good record. And even in the season before, he had more goals than that. So I think it's a great signing for Palace. Is it a great fantasy asset? Probably not. With the likes of Ronaldo, Lukaku, Kane, Calvert-Lewin, and Antonio, Is there a spot in your front line for him? Most likely not. Right now he's at a 0.1% ownership, but he's playing Tottenham, Liverpool, and then Brighton, and then Leicester, Arsenal. Palace have a horrible run of fixtures right now. There's really no reason you should bring him in right now unless you are a Crystal Palace fan or you are just going for a massive punt. I don't even think he'll be starting. It's one of those guys, just keep your eye on him. Going forward, if he scores a couple goals, yeah, maybe we'll look at him as a cheap forward asset, but with how many good mid-range midfielders there are, that's where your smaller budget should be going. Your 7.5s, your Jotas, your Greenwoods, your Torres, those kind of players for the same price, or a little bit more expensive, are going to get you, Rafinha even, are going to get you a much, much better value for 6.5. So I put him at a 5 because if you want to take the risk, I mean, I wouldn't completely look at you crazy, but yeah, I would stay away from this guy. Rondon, what a player back in the day. The man can head the ball in from anywhere on the pitch. Honestly, he's a good finisher of the ball as well. So love him as a signing. I think it's great for Everton, honestly, to have a backup striker like that, but that is what he's going to be, is a backup striker. With Rafa Benitez, there's always a chance he gets to the team, gets some playing time, but with the way that DCL is playing, even Richarlison floating in and out on the wings, you just do not see this guy getting much playing time. That being said, once again, at $6 million, that's a really good price for him if he were to get any playing time. But yeah, my overall assessment, steer clear. And obviously, if you look at the ownership, no one is putting a bet on this guy. Last season, well, he was actually at a club in China, but then he got loaned to CSKA Moscow. And there he had 10 goals, or 10 matches, 4 goals, 2 assists. The thing is that they have great fixtures coming up, but for barely any more, you could get DCL or Richarlison. So stay away from Rondon. We'll watch how he does. If for whatever reason DCL gets injured, Rondon comes into the team, could be a great option, but do not go for him right now. I love Kurt Zouma. I think he's a super underrated player. I think he's got the speed, he's got the agility, he's got the mental ability. He can read the game well from what I can tell. He's super strong in the air. He's got the height. I think he's a great signing for West Ham. I don't know if he'll be a great FPL asset going forward just because of that price point of 5.4, but he's going to fit right into that West Ham team and will hopefully help them keep more clean sheets. In turn, having someone like Soufal at only $5 million might be a better option. Now, if you look at his matches played in goals, he had 5 goals in 25 games. So it's pretty much a goal every 5 games. And because goals are worth more points to defenders and assists aren't. So if you're looking at Soufal versus Zouma, even though Soufal had like 9 or 10 assists last season, that actually points-wise comes out to less points than Zouma with his 5 goals. And including clean sheets, he could be a better option. But like I said, you're going to want Chelsea assets. You're going to want City assets if you can. I think Laporte is only 5.5. I could be wrong about that. You also have some good Chelsea assets that are going to be just as much as this. So that price point is not easy. But if you're looking to have a punt and you want to get into the West Ham defense when they get into a good run of fixtures, he might be a good option. He's already 0.9% owned, which is obviously still very low. But that's why I gave him a 6 overall rating on the wild card worthy scale. I think he's a great player. Great aerial threat, hopefully going to help tighten up that West Ham defense, help them keep a few more clean sheets. Yeah, and they have a couple good fixtures coming up. Obviously, all of us Antonio owners and Soufal owners know that these fixtures are good, which is why we've kept them for so long. But yeah, Southampton, Man United, not great, but Leeds, Brentford, Everton, some spicy fixtures. So I wouldn't be mad if you got them in your team. All right, we're going to start moving through the rest of these pretty quick. Saul from Atletico Madrid, once again, great signing for Chelsea, not a good FPL asset. And just because someone is a good budget option and they're in a good team does not mean you should have them in your team. For those of you who watch soccer and you know the center defensive mid position, you know he's not going to get hardly any returns. Maybe an assist here or there. Maybe a corner comes out and he collects it and smashes it in the top bins, but probably not. At 5.5 million, there is absolutely no reason you should be getting Saul on your teams. Hopefully he'll, once again, help tighten up those Chelsea defensive assets, bringing in more clean sheets. So if anything, this signing means you should go for some Chelsea defensive assets. You already should because of their defense is so strong, but he could up 33 games, 2 goals, 1 assist, nothing crazy. I don't even know why 0.1% of players have him in the team. And when Chelsea hit that fixture swing, there's a good chance you might want 3 Chelsea players in your team. No reason Saul should be taking up one of them. Oh, Dan James, tireless worker, insane speed on the ball. not a good finisher, meaning he'll work very well at Leeds. Throw him on either the right or the left, he's going to be pacing down the wing, sending balls in. Any Bamford owners should be very happy. Any Harrison owners should be a little bit worried because odds are Rafinha is going to keep his spot because of the numbers he's been putting up. Harrison has always been a position that they've looked to try and fill. Even Rodrigo played out there sometimes. They've had a couple different people. Helder Costa last season was playing on the wing. If I had Harrison, I would be a tad bit worried. James last season, he barely got any time at United. It's a miracle he even got 3 goals and an assist in those 15 games. 0.3% owned, pretty good. But the thing is, he's 6 million. So if you just absolutely no budget or no room for Rafinha in your team, and you really wanted to get some of those Leeds fixtures in, which once again they have a great run of fixtures coming up. Oh, I accidentally left these colors incorrectly. After Liverpool, they're all green. They should all be green fixtures. At 6 million, I would not punt if he's getting consistent starts. Maybe after a couple games, you see how his performances have been, then you bring him in. Right now is absolutely not the time, but I think potentially he might be good going forward, so I gave him a 4 out of 10. A new Wolves midfielder, with Pedro Neto being injured, Podence being injured. I think it's a good signing for Wolves again. Hee-Chan Hwang, if you watch some of his highlights, which I did, great on the ball, great skill. Once again, not an insane finisher, but at 5.5 could be a good little bargain there. If Traore is too much of a stretch for you, or Traore is just a frustrating option, Hwang could be a good potential asset. Would not go for him right now at all. He's 0.1% owned. But with those Wolves fixtures, everybody's going to be trying to get some Wolves players in. Just don't go for him right now. Keep an eye on him. I didn't even mean to put. This is the wrong graphic. It should be like he should be a 1 or 2 on the wild card worthy scale. Brandon Williams got signed a pretty good minute before the deadline, but as you can see, 9 out of 10 on my wild card worthy scale. Absolutely should be in your team. Like, there's no reason that he shouldn't. At 4.0, he's gonna be getting his playing time, and he's fairly attacking. He's still got some defensive work to lose, so he's not gonna get you many clean sheets, but he's a pretty attacking player. And with Arsenal, Watford, Everton, Burnley, and Brighton coming up, really good potential for a couple returns there. I'm not gonna have him in my starting 11, but if I were to wild card this week, he would be on my bench for sure. As you can see, he's already up to 4.8% ownership. There's absolutely no reason that if you're wild carding, he should not take that spot. So some people have Livramento for Southampton, who has looked pretty good. Some people have Duffy, but both of those players have had price rises at this point. Yeah, so if you can, jump on Williams. I think he's going to be a good option. Maybe not in your starting 11, but get him in the team. So this is a player I'm definitely going to be keeping my eye on. I know you're probably laughing at me, thinking that I might be choosing an Arsenal defender to come into my team. But once again, it's that 4.5 price million. I know they signed Ben White, but if after a few games Tomiyasu is getting playing time, a 4.5 million starting defender with the fixtures like they have. Once again, I accidentally screwed up some of these graphics, and the fixture colors don't necessarily match, but Norwich, Burnley, Tottenham, Brighton, and Crystal Palace, there could be some clean sheets in there. I would not bring him in for sure yet, but if you're on a wild card and you need a 4.5 million spot on your bench for rotation, he could be a good look, especially if he starts getting playing time and his price rises go up. But yeah, played in Serie A, 31 matches, which is great because it means he can play a lot of matches throughout the season. So yeah, keep an eye on him. Don't bring him in right now unless you're an Arsenal fan or just looking to take a big punt, but those Arsenal fixtures do look good. Lookman is one of these players that I'm a little bit interested in. If you watch him at all for Fulham last year, great speed, great dribbling, had a couple decent finishes throughout the season, and maybe if he had been in a better side, he would have performed better overall. Maybe a couple more assists on the season. So if he gets some playing time alongside Jamie Vardy, his numbers could definitely go up, but the problem is I don't think that he's going to be starting. Maybe he starts on the opposite side of Barnes, but I don't see it very likely. And Leicester have had a couple forward signings already in the summer. I just don't see where he fits into the team. At 6.0, that's a great price point for him. 34 matches with Fulham, 4 goals, 4 assists. It's pretty good numbers for a 6.0 The fixtures aren't there for Leicester right now. I wouldn't even wild card him in game week 7, game week 8. Maybe after that you see if he's gotten any playing time at all, but that's the overall theme of these players, is it's just way too soon to know if they're going to be playing, except for Ronaldo, who you would expect to play. If Lookman gets a first start against City and then starts again against Brighton, hey, he might be a good option to bring him in versus Burnley. So here we have Emerson Royale, the new defensive signing for Tottenham, who, if you've been paying attention, have now kept 3 clean sheets. I'm not saying that Royale is going to come in and immediately take that right back spot from Tanganga, but they signed him for a reason is all I'm saying. Whether that's to just push Tanganga on to become an even better player, or to get straight into the thick of it and play instead of Tanganga. At $5 million, a little bit expensive, but last season you can see he played 34 matches for Real Betis, had 1 goal and 4 assists. It's pretty good numbers. It's comparable to Reguilon on the other side. We know that Harry Kane is a great finisher of everything, heading and shooting or anything. So if Royale gets into positions where he's going to be crossing balls in, could be a great little pick. Would not go for him at all right now, especially with the likes of Eric Dyer around 4.5, 4.6 mil. I would like to get a piece of that Tottenham defense. I don't think I can right now, but yeah, Crystal Palace and then Chelsea, not a great fixture, but then Arsenal, Aston Villa, Newcastle, really, really nice fixtures. Once again, wait to see if Emerson is going to be getting any time at all. If you have Tanganga, you should be a tiny bit concerned just because they play in the same position. And anytime a club signs a player in a position, the person who normally plays there should be worried. So I would be scared. Do not go in for Tanganga right now. I would go for Dyer or Reguilon if you can stretch up to that. Veltman owners, beware. Veltman has not been starting this whole season. A lot of people brought him in because they thought that he would be, and he hasn't for sickness and for some other reasons, which I totally get. But Brighton just went out and signed, I don't know how to say his name, Cucurella. But yeah, I have him on a 6 out of 10 in my wildcard worthy because he's a defender and a pretty strong Brighton team. He's 5 million, which again, you would love to see a 4.5 million, but because he's so attacking and he's literally played on both wings before, could be a really good attacking option. Would not get him again, like I've said a million times before. Wait to see if he even plays. But 37 matches played, which is a lot of matches for Getafe. 3 goals, 2 assists, great numbers. That's really good numbers for a defensive player. A lot of us already have Sanchez in our team, so we might not want to go double Brighton defense, but he's going to be more attacking than the likes of Duffy or Dunk or any of those other players. He's got great skill. He came through the Barcelona Academy, so you know that he's going to be pretty skillful on the ball. Would keep an eye on him for sure. So last but not least, we have Cornet, the new Burnley signing, which is really an interesting signing because this guy was a great player for Olympique Lyon in France. 36 matches played, 2 goals, 5 assists, basically as a defender, and he had even more than that in the Champions League. So the thing is that he played as a left back or even a right back or left wing back, right wing back for Olympique Lyon, and even sometimes as a left forward, but he's listed as a midfielder in the game. If he had been listed as a defensive option for Burnley, I would have been all over that because they're already so defensively solid. An attacking-minded defender would have been huge. But at 6.0 in a Burnley team in midfield when there's already so many other players around that 6.5 price point, absolutely no reason you should be going for this guy. 0.0% ownership. I want to keep an eye on him because once again, I think there's potential there, but there's no reason you should be going for this guy. Everton, Arsenal, Leicester, Norwich, great. And then City, bad run of fixtures. Stay away from this guy. Keep an eye on him like most of these players, but do not go for him. So yeah, that's all I got. I know there were a couple other signings a little bit earlier in the window that I didn't necessarily address, but these were kind of those deadline day players, and I want to get a video out for anyone who might not watch as much soccer as me to show you which ones are viable options and which ones are not, because a lot of times the thought process is, oh, they signed a player, he's going to get straight into the team, he's going to start getting returns, and that's really just not the way that it goes most times. So I hope this video was helpful for you in seeing which players are actually going to be getting playing time, which players are good value, which players are in teams that will help them and which players are coming in that could be hurtful to other players you might have in your team. Yeah, out of all these players though, I mean, Ronaldo is the only one that you really need to get into your team. There's a couple other punts, like maybe Edouard, the forward for Crystal Palace, maybe Dan James if you're really thinking about it, and then Brandon Williams from Norwich to ride on your bench for a long time. Maybe Tomiyasu after going forward. Bottom line, I know I've said it a million times in this video already, just keep an eye on these players. There's no need for you to jump the gun and get them into your team, except for Ronaldo, because his ceiling for points is so high. I cannot recommend him enough for you to get into your team right now, and then you can take him out if he doesn't perform well. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. Go and follow me on Instagram. Go ahead and join my league. As always, thank you guys for watching. It's been kind of a crazy, emotional, weird couple of weeks past and going forward. I'm gonna do my best to keep getting these videos out because I really do enjoy it. But yeah, I hope you're all doing well and are having a good start to the season as well. I love you guys.